Let's do this, everybody. The shocking announcement heard around the world. We are open for discussion. Let's get into it, folks. Starting in less than 2 minutes. Hit the like button. Get ready. It's the after show. Let's go. Start this thing. Let's go. Check. Tons of voicemails flying in right now. Let's get into it in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic, host of Bachelor Nation News. That's right, no time to waste. We are here, and we just witnessed one of the greatest endings to The Bachelor ever. Can you believe this? Everyone's a winner. Everybody's a winner. If you were the top 3, that is. Susie's back with Clayton. And, of course, Gabby and Rachel, co-bachelorettes. When you can't choose which one you want, bring them both in. Will they be competing over the same men? Absolutely. Absolutely. This is going to test friendship. This is going to be a ton of fun. Let me know what you guys think. You can call the voicemail number. It is open 401-213-9828. Let's get the party started right now.
Hey, it's Robert from Los Angeles. I have to say that this was the first finale that made me sort of ashamed to be a Bachelor fan. I felt so bad for realistically every single minute that I watched the finale. I don't know what to do about these feelings.
Embrace them, my guy. Thank you, Robert in Los Angeles. He says, I feel bad and I don't even know why. Well, it was a tough one to watch. It was messy. The fact that Clayton and Susie are back together, it was a roundabout way to get there. But you got to give a little bit of credit. Will love prevail now that they're out in the open? We'll have to see. Plenty of voicemails to get through. 401-213-9828.
Hi, Dave. Emily from Pittsburgh.
Hi, Emily.
So excited about Gabby and Rachel.
Can you believe it?
How do you think the logistics of this are going to work? They are so well deserving of this, though. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Emily from Pittsburgh, the logistics, how will it work? Oh, boy. It's going to require a lot of communication between Rachel and Gabby. But, hey, this is exciting. I said all along that I've loved Rachel, but I didn't know if she would be the best bachelorette for the show, just because Gabby's a little bit more outgoing, a little bit funnier, a little bit bigger, which again, it doesn't mean much in real life, but when it comes to fronting a show, could be helpful. Now that they're going to be paired together, this is the exact bond that we got from Tayshia and Caitlyn, but now we're going to have it with the leads. This is going to be must-watch TV, and they're going to start filming this week. Get the waxes done, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, gentlemen, wax those chests. We're getting ready to party. Tons of voicemails. Let's get into them. Keep them at 30 seconds or less, please.
Dave, it's Carly from Salt Lake City. I'm here with my friend Dana.
Hi, Dana.
We are watching the finale. We just had an epiphany about if he says that he had to fuck other girls, he wasn't going to have sex with everybody or anyone. He wasn't going to marry them until he had sex with them. So why was it the only girl he didn't have sex with is the one he realized he wanted to be with? Like, the point is, he doesn't need to have sex with them to decide who he wanted to be with. That's all.
Thank you, Carly and Dana from Salt Lake City, Utah. Well, but to be fair, oh, geez, it's loud. He also didn't propose. He didn't propose to her. So to be fair, he's, that's where he's at. All right, we're going to be joined by some great friends this evening. The first of which is Kelly Johns. Kelly, are you ready to go? Can you hear me?
I'm ready.
Oh, Kelly's over there. Let's get her in the chat room. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to switch microphones and we're going to go to Kelly. There she is. Kelly, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Good to see you. Kelly Johns, one of our favorite recappers from Atlanta, Georgia, or outside thereof. Tell me instant reactions, dual bachelorettes, Susie's with Clayton. You've got the floor.
Oh, thank you. I'm honored. Wow, so much to cover. First thoughts on Susie and Clayton. I'm going to be happy for anyone that's happy together, right? Like, they're together. They seem in love. They say they're in love. Awesome. I will say I feel like this season, the producers tried really hard to make it as dramatic as possible, but Clayton's getting all the heat for it. And, like, he did make a lot of mistakes, obviously. But come on, we have to acknowledge that he was probably encouraged to do all that stupid stuff. You know, like they were probably like, you should break up with them at the same time.
You know, my thought was this. Same thing. My thought was this. He is essentially like a minor league baseball player that got sent up to the big leagues way too soon. And then he strikes out and everyone's like, you're horrible. What are you doing? He's like, yeah, I've never done this before. I don't know what's going on. He's not ready for that. Some people might have risen to the occasion, but just like you said, we'll never know. We'll never know if he was forced to dump them together or if they convinced him that was the more ethical decision. But I'm like you. I think the producers really went for destruction here and they just, they cashed their paychecks.
Yeah, I don't think they actually care about the lead or obviously the contestants' feelings. And they really just wanted to, like you said, destruct everything that they had going on to make it the most dramatic in Bachelor history. And I feel bad for him because I feel like he was so desperate for love. And again, I'm glad he did find it with Susie eventually. But I feel like they really manipulated him and took advantage of that kind of desperation. And not in a bad way. Like, it's sweet that he really wanted to find love, and that he was so ready for it. He just didn't know the right ways to go about it because it's on a freaking TV show.
Sorry, keep going.
I was just going to say, but I'm so happy about both Gabby and Rachel being our bachelorettes. But I'm curious how they're going to do it because I hope they don't kind of pin them against each other and make them fight for the same men.
I think there will be at least one. It kind of like Love is Blind, how like there's always that one that they're like, oh. I feel like when you realize the stock of somebody, then you both like, oh, this guy is kind of good, and then it's confirmed by each other. I feel like that's going to happen. But they're good at communicating together, so maybe they'll. I don't know. What do you do? Rock, paper, scissors? How does that work?
I know. I'm afraid there's going to be like one standout guy, like a Dale walks in, and they both want him. And then it's just going to be madness again. Madness.
B. Bean in the comment section says, Kelly Johns should be on SNL. Are you prepared to do impressions after this finale? There's going to be a lot of tears.
Well, I think that I have Gabby down pretty well. So I'm excited to be Gabby as the Bachelorette.
Wow, I like that. You had a Marilyn Monroe chic kind of thing going on there.
I got to get the wig on, though, to get fully in character,
Now, I'll be honest. I actually, for like 2 minutes there, was thinking that Clayton is with Shanae. I'm not going to lie.
And that's what I tweeted.
Because it was so hyped up, and I don't know if it quite delivered to the hype, to be quite honest, that when everyone was like, oh, I saw a ghost, it was amazing, I go, he's with Shanae. Absolutely. He's been maybe vilified so far. He says, I got nothing else to lose. I'm going back with Shanae. At least we had good chemistry. Of course, that wasn't the case. What was your thoughts when they panned up to Susie?
I felt like that's who it had to be because, like, I tweeted Shanae as kind of a joke because there's just, like, that would have just been absolutely insane. But I was like, it's just got to be Susie. We know it's not Gabby or Rachel. They already just told him off. Who else could it really be? I was like, maybe it's this Kira girl who told him at the tell-all that she was still interested. But I was like, no, that would be too far-fetched. So I think they tried hard. And Jesse tried to really pretend that he had no idea it was Susie. It's like, bro, you knew. But good acting.
Yeah, you knew. Now, okay, this might have been one of the weakest audience responses to Susie and Clayton being together.
I know.
That's got to be tough. Like, they know what the audience cheering sounds like, and they know they're not getting it.
Yeah, I feel bad for them, but I hope that they can just understand that, like, and they kind of mentioned this, that it does not matter what the other people think, and it's nice to have the support, but you don't need it. Like, I hope that they kind of try to stay out of the limelight after the usual Good Morning America interviews and stuff like that, because I feel like people have more success when they kind of just keep it on the down low and go to their normal lives. And he said he's moving in with her in Virginia, so hopefully they can get back to just the norm and actually, last.
Well, Virginia is for lovers. My guess is they started sharing notes once they got back, and they realized how manipulated they were. His contract is 2 years, hers is 1. When the contract ends, they're allowed to share some info, but they're like in perpetuity not allowed to talk about producer manipulation. You have to believe that, because I always said all along in Dear Shandy, the podcast, Charlene, she's been on the show. She's very smart. She was actually going to join us tonight too, but she's got her opera performance. She's singing in the opera, and I'm here doing this. I barely have just yelling, and then she's over there like in the New York Symphony or whatever she's doing. But she was saying, hey, the conversation didn't line up when he was mad at Susie. Something went down. They were talking about her wanting Bachelor. It could have been that the producers told him she wanted our Bachelorette. There could have been several things that triggered a response that where he felt like he was being betrayed. We'll never get to see that, but it's not far-fetched to think that there was some sort of catalyst there that was thrown on them by the producers.
Oh, for sure. I think that the producers told her, oh, you should definitely, go home. And then the producers told him, I would be so pissed if I were you. Like, aren't you so pissed at her? And that fires anyone up, right? So, like, while I do think that his tone towards her and his anger was off-putting and not okay and very disrespectful, again, like, I don't fault him completely because of the whole situation that he was in, and probably having producers firing him up and, justifying his anger.
And I was talking about this with Tasha, my fiance here. And by the way, I want to make an announcement. We are at the biggest live stream we've ever had on my channel right now at 1,600 people. I'm going to get away from you real quick and show Kel Johns on Instagram. Everyone give her a follow. Kel Johns on Instagram right there. You've got plenty of new people that can go support you. She does all character recaps of The Bachelor. I think we see some Love is Blind as well there. So I just wanted to give you that shout out right there. Everyone go give her a follow while we talk.
Thank you.
Now with Clayton, he's basically lived his whole adult life, playing football and being in the gym. To think that he was pushed by production and followed their cue, I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever. So, I hope the best for them. I will make my judgments now that I'll watch the podcast go-arounds. I get to know them way more in the sort of open conversations than the edit. Mm-hmm. And we'll have to see, hopefully they'll continue to grow their relationship.
Yeah, all the best to them.
Well, I know you're on the East Coast, so I'm going to let you go. But thank you so much for dipping in. And everyone go give Kelly a follow at Kel Johns. Anything else you want to promote?
All our love to Ukraine.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Jeez, let's go get it. Thanks again, and well, let's chat soon when we have some more to talk about here. But
for sure, thank you for having me.
Of course, take care. Bye now. All right, that was Kelly John, everybody, and Kelly Johns. Go follow her on Instagram at Kel Johns. We've got some friends from the community joining us here. I'm going to bring our next one in right now. This is so exciting to get to talk to everybody right now. Our next, let's make sure I'm in here. Bachelor Data is joining us. Susanna, how are you over there? Are you in Boston?
Hey, yeah, I'm good.
Thanks for joining me. I'm still new to this software and all that, but boy, what an ending. What did you think?
Man, I am tracking their Instagram follower counts right now, and this is always the best part of the season, is right at the end where all this news drops. We get what happened to the lead, who is he with now, is he with anybody, who's our next Bachelorette, and then we see them skyrocket on Instagram, and it is just a blast to see people rallying and getting excited for what's to come, but also excited about this upcoming break.
Speaking of blasting up on Instagram, I'm pulling over to your page right now at 114,000 followers. Look at you go. How about that? Not too shabby.
It has been a quiet season, though. I don't know about you, Dave, but this season's been pretty quiet on Instagram. I think people are wanting a little bit of a break from The Bachelor, and I think we're gonna get it right now with this off season. And I feel like people are gonna come back reinvigorated, ready for Bachelorette.
See, you think there's going to be a break? I'm going to Virginia tomorrow to see what Love gas station I can catch these, Susie and Clayton at. Now you were the first one that enlightened me about Bachelor Instagram following. Essentially, and correct me if I'm wrong, people follow the contestants once the show's over to see the relationship flourish. And of course, Hannah Brown and Tyler, right? They kind of were like, maybe we'll date. And then it's like their following jumped up. Will Susie and Clayton get that bump, do you think?
Oh, they're already getting it. I mean, just Susie alone. So just a few minutes after the episode ended, she was at 212,000 followers, and she's already at 216,000 followers. She hit 200,000 followers about 15 minutes before the episode ended. And Gabby, she's surpassing 200,000 literally right now. And Rachel, she's finally jumped. Rachel was really lagging behind earlier tonight at 126,000 followers, and now she's at 151,000. It's still smaller than previous seasons. And yes, there's been a big decline with Instagram with the rise of TikTok. We've talked about that a lot on our page. But I still think that the growth rates, so seeing how much people are growing, still shows who's really excited about which contestants and who we're excited to see moving forward.
Now, what? And by the way, I can only imagine your desktop looks like some like Wolf of Wall Street. Or I guess that's a bad reference because that was in the 90s. But you got some like Wall Street sort of Bloomberg terminals going on.
I definitely have a few screens, a few monitors, and mainly just Excel everywhere with their Instagram pages running on refresh, so I can kind of see what's going on. The finale night's always a blast to analyze these contestants' Instagram follower counts. It's also exciting. Here we are. It's a season that we're invested. We're watching these people for hours every week, and we're going to see their journeys moving forward, whether or not it's on this show as Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise, or maybe off the show. So it's exciting to see, who's growing and really who's benefiting from the show.
Yeah, and how do you think Clayton's going to do with his following? Because is he the lowest male lead in years? Where does he stack up? Obviously, it's not like a big influencer brand.
Yeah, he's not doing too great. I think what we've seen this season from him, especially with his Instagram stories and now on TikTok, is him really trying to come into what his brand is. And I think especially when he was on Bachelorette, we really didn't see a brand from him. It was like, surprise, he's on an episode and children are going to choose him to be the next Bachelor. And then surprise, he's going to be the next Bachelor. We're going to have a lot of really mean tweets read about him. The show really hasn't been building a brand or even just making us like him, period. So as we can see right now, right now he's at 229,000 followers, but I'm pretty sure Susie's going to surpass him and probably Gabby in the next day.
Yeah, I think Gabby had a good push because I think the biggest rumor was that she would be the next Bachelorette. As soon as Jesse said it's not Gabby and it's not Rachel, immediately I knew it was both of them. Yeah. I just knew it. I was like, there's no one even close in the running. It would have been nice if they were whipped out Natasha. It would have been nice, maybe Serene, I don't think was a contender, but I kind of knew all along they were going to be pulling a fastball there after seeing their edit together with their chemistry. It's a real no-brainer, I think.
Yeah, I think especially the two-part finale, we really saw them come together, and love to see that. Love to see women who are best friends. And I don't know, this last week I got so sick with strep. I finally watched Joe Millionaire, so I feel like I kind of manifested this, where I was watching, I was like, oh, this would be really fun to see on The Bachelorette if it was two men or two women that were friends along the way, didn't turn against each other, were really respectful towards each other. If you haven't watched Joe Millionaire, highly recommend it. It was a blast to watch, binge watch. But I think it'll be really interesting. And there's some rumors about where they're going to be filming this Bachelorette season, which I think are really interesting. Do
you want to talk about that? Is it the boat?
Yeah, a cruise ship.
Now, let me tell you something. I was supposed to go on the maiden voyage of Virgin Cruise Lines back in March of 2020. And days before I was supposed to go, the trip was canceled as a little-known virus was spreading around the globe. And I was actually very excited to go on this cruise because Virgin makes it. By the way, I just went to Virgin Casino in Vegas. It sucked, but Virgin Cruise was like each bedroom you hit a button and like the bed turns into a couch and the disco ball comes out. And I'm like, this would be kind of cool. So that would be an interesting a canvas for love, unless everyone gets sick, and gets the diarrhea, whatever happened on the cruise ships.
I think it'd be really interesting though, because I think we desperately, for those of us who have been watching this show for a lot of years, I've been watching since Jake Pavelka's season. We are in desperate need of a shakeup. The fact that I can do posts that analyze horseback riding dates, helicopter dates, like it has been so recycled at this point that I think something like that would be really fun. Kind of like Joe Millionaire, where at the beginning, it's just a lot of the contestants intermingling with the leads and really having more time together. I think it'd be really interesting to see a season in a really different format like that, and really the shakeup that the franchise needs.
Now, do you think the franchise or the show, do you think they would go with just an open pot of men up for grabs, or do you think they'll try to? Because I don't think it would work well if you say these men are for Gabby, these men, because then you're going to want what you can't have. They just got to send them out there like a pot of lobsters, or what?
I really hope that they learn their lesson with Caitlin Bristow's season, where I just hope they do the opposite of that, of making the men vote on the women. And I hope that they just make it natural. Like they let the men talk to the women, make decisions, and choose at which point they want to make a decision on which woman they want to really focus on, rather than forcing it. I really want to put a lot of hope into the franchise that they're going to do this well, and I really hope that they approach it from that friendship perspective. I do have some hope though, after the way that Jesse really described it tonight about them being, really good friends. I have some hope that they're going to do it right.
Yeah, I think the right thing versus what they're going to do is two different stories. They're gonna definitely have to hold back, because I think what they would want to do is try to split up Gabby and Rachel in a way that they can kind of maybe, they Bachelor, they like to create potholes, right? They like to wedge into the asphalt and break it up, and they like to cause trouble. They'll have to be careful, because the last storyline people are going to want to see with a primarily female audience is pitting each other against it. How about they just come together and have a blast of a time? How about we just watch a season where they have a blast? It's going to be dramatic anyway, but, high-fiving each other after their fantasy suite dates. I mean, wouldn't this be nice?
Exactly. And then, just authentic. I think a lot of the storylines, I think, there's definitely some turnover. There's something happening behind the scenes. That stuff recently has felt less authentic, a little bit more forced. The random, thing that popped up in the middle of the forest on Michelle's date, where they read these stories of wishes that people were putting in the forest, and it just happened to trigger, somebody's lifelong story of their father who passed away. Just more authentic things. Stop trying to trick us. We know what you guys are doing. Let's just see a real season. Let's see people fall in love, hang out, and have fun on the show.
So speaking of real, we got really different reactions from Gabby and Rachel. Are you a Gabby or are you a Rachel? I'm sorry, I just want to specify, as far as their breakups with Clayton goes.
My heartstring, first off, when Gabby and Clayton broke up, I was sitting there, I was like, yes, I was clapping in my room, literally alone here, watching while packing. And I was like, yes, tell him. But then when it got to Rachel, and there was a little bit of break there because we had the live segment with the interview. When it got to Rachel, I was like, oh my God, this is what my actual breakups would be like. It was it was authentic. She was like, are you really doing this? You could tell how shocked she was. In the matter of a few days, she went from final two ceremony, by the way, I slept with both people and I love you both, and I actually loved somebody else a lot too, to Gabby being like, peace out, no, I'm going. And then she's like, wait, am I the winner by default? And that's kind of messed up. And then being asked and begged to stay, gosh, it was just so much. Her storyline at the end I don't know, the whole season I thought that she was the one that was with him.
Oh, they're kissing on the end of the dock. They really just, you could feel this throbbing energy, I thought at least. But, you know, that's why I think it hit her.
I was pretty surprised with her Instagram growth because all season, you know, we just didn't see her grow after those episodes. And I was like, well, like I'm seeing it, and there really weren't a lot of spoilers then. Everybody was speculating that they were together. And then Susie came out of nowhere. I did want to update you really quick. Susie is she's getting pretty close to passing Clayton. She's at 218,000 followers, and he is not growing very fast. So I'm going to go ahead and predict that tonight, Susie in the next, like by tomorrow morning, is going to pass Clayton in the number of followers, which would be a first since I started tracking for Colton Underwood's season. So I know a lot of people wonder, they're like, oh, Maddie passed Peter. Maddie never passed Peter on his season. Peter started to decrease followers after his season ended, but it took a long time for Maddie to pass him.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll have to see. As far as like the Instagram platitudes go, we're going to get a statement from Susie and Clayton. We're going to get their first photo together. We're going to get all that, which will drive a lot of traffic. A lot of people were surprised that Clayton didn't lose followers this year. And I think that's just I think someone like Brendan Moraes, the great unfollowing, I think he lost so many followers because he was built up to be some like model god. I don't think Clayton ever got built up in the first place, so I don't think he had much to lose. But do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think not only was that the situation with Brendan and Piper, but there was also a massive social media movement of people who were wanting them to lose followers. I think had it not been the social media traction, I don't think he necessarily would have lost as many. It almost became a meme at one point. Like I even memed it in a TikTok that got a couple 100,000 views. I think those two coupled together, when people are on the show and people are talking about that person, they're rarely going to lose followers. I mean, even Shanae all season, she was gaining followers. Cassidy was gaining followers. It really doesn't matter if people are talking positively or negatively about you. You're going to gain followers because people, just like there's absolutely no way for people to be pulled over on a highway and people don't slow down to look at what's happening. Same thing happens on Instagram, that people are going to follow just to see what happens.
Yeah, it's so weird that at some point following became like an endorsement. People were like getting mad at me for following Brendan Moraes. I'm like, I'm not going to unfollow Brendan Moraes. I need to know what he's doing. I have my alerts on for Colton Underwood. Maybe I don't follow him. But the point being is like, people can decide what they want to do with their follow, but at the same time, we got a business to run over here. Have you had any DMs from people trying to convince you to follow or unfollow certain people?
Yeah, all the time. And it's really interesting because I follow everyone who has over 1 million followers in this franchise, so I can stay up to date on, people who are very relevant from this franchise. I also love following influencer culture. The only person that I personally just cannot follow in that 1 million plus club is Colton Underwood, for a lot of reasons around what's kind of going on with him and my own personal past. But, I follow a lot of them, and a lot of people would be like, why do you support that person? And it's like, just because I follow them, it doesn't mean that I do. Like I keep tabs on everybody from this franchise. I'm doing an analysis this week for my newsletter on cameos, and lo and behold, Chris Harrison is still under the cameos for the Bachelor franchise, and his bio still says, humble host to Bachelor Nation. It's one of those things, like these people are still in the news and still relevant for different reasons, and you got to keep up to date with them.
Well, we are very much looking forward to your slides. For everybody, one last time I want to share, of course, I'm sure everyone already knows your Instagram, but Bachelor Data, there's the Instagram, and I'm sure you're going to have either a busy night or you've already had a busy night trying to put it all together. But any last words you'd like to say before we get you out of here to go back, dealing with the ever-growing Susie Instagram following?
If there are any contestants who just happen to be watching this who are about to be on the next season, I am going to be so interested to follow their journey in this new world of Instagram versus TikTok versus building a brand, why you go on the show. And honestly, I'm curious to see what's going to happen with casting, where Instagram is no longer this golden apple for these contestants. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen. I'm excited for this next season, but Dave, I bet just like me that we are excited to have a little bit of a break for a few weeks before the next season.
Yeah, just in time for tax season. We'll have a few weeks off to figure it all out. Thanks again, and have a good rest of your evening. I appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
All right, see you later. All right, that was Susanna, a.k.a. Bachelor Data, joining us. Thank you so much. You know, listen, guys, I always appreciate hearing from fellow Bachelor accounts. So much to get into, so many voicemails to get to. We're going to be going live for the next 4 hours. I tell you what, though, I don't appreciate the comments saying, like, you know, don't be an asshole in the comment section, guys. You know what I mean? We're gonna, I've got, you know what I mean? You just can't win. I've got some friends that are gonna be joining us, and they've all got such great value within the Bachelor community. If that's a problem with anybody, just do me a favor and, you know, reevaluate your life. All right, folks, let's get into it. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? So you know who I'm talking to. That's right, a good old Dave Neal scolding. You're good for a good old Dave Neal scolding here. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still not on the right microphone. So there we are. Now you guys can hear me on the microphone. All right, folks. So anyway, let me go back to the top comments. I'm sorry. I did get a few super chats. I'm so sorry I wasn't able to shout those out. I'll try to get to those afterwards. I have to go into the system and take a look at them and all that. Anyway... let me make sure, you know, this is just going to be a lot of bells and whistles coming on my end, but let's get to some of your voicemails right now.
My name is Justin Scott. I'm from Stockton, California. I believe that Clayton will end up with Susie at the end.
Well, thank you, Nostradamus. That's exactly right. Clayton is with Susie. Yes, negative people get out. Oh, Zach's in the house. We got Zach. Do you have the link? Oh, geez, I don't know if I gave you the link. Let me double check here. Scoop boop boo. Hold on, Zachary. I don't know. Did I give you the link? Give me 1 second. I've got my interview. Let me just get here and give it to you here. I'm going to DM it to you, okay, bud? Back to life. That's my bad if I didn't send it to you. Oh, no, I did. You got the link. So just, hey, Zachary, come on in whenever you're ready and we'll chat with you. Boo-doo-boo-doo-doo-doo. I appreciate you. And everyone else, let's see here. Some more voicemails. We have a Dale from Maryland.
Dale, hey, this is Dale from Maryland, and I'm calling in. I just finished the show, and I couldn't be happier with the choice of them two bachelorettes. And all I am worried about is what is going to be the strategy for dividing up them 30 men amongst themselves.
Dale, I said it was...
All right, we're going to get back to you, Dale, in a second. We have Zachary coming in right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Zachary Reality. How are you, my guy?
I'm good. I'm feeling all of the feels right now.
Yes. What is the biggest feel that you're feeling?
I guess because like it just ended with like Gabby and Rachel being announced as the Bachelorette. So I'm just so excited for them because I feel like they pulled at our heartstrings the whole season, especially the last like tonight's episode. So I'm just like really rooting for them to find love. And I think this season will be so interesting having two of them the whole way through.
Yeah, I agree. What I loved most about Tayshia and Caitlyn as host was their playing off of each other. Mm-hmm. I can't wait. And I hope that Gabby and Rachel will be standing next to each other for the limo entrances. They can be high-fiving each other. They can be taking notes. I think it's going to be ripe with fresh experience.
I think it will be just like Caitlyn and Britt's season. If anyone remembers, they were both the Bachelorettes. They were there with the limo, but then the guys voted who they wanted to keep. But in this scenario, they're both going to stay the whole time. So it's going to be interesting if they start to like the same guys, because that will get really tricky towards the end if they're starting to fall for them. And then one of the guys will have to choose between them if they like the same one. And I mean, we're going to get double proposals probably too at the end.
Oh, a good old double proposal. How can we wait? I love the idea. I mean, do you think the men will be making out with each of them, or do you think they'll kind of have to pick and choose? Like what we don't even know what the boundaries are going to be here.
I think it will be like Joe Millionaire. I think it will be a little bit of both. I think there's going to be some guys that are going to vibe with Gabby right off the bat and only go for Gabby. There's going to be guys that are only going to vibe with Rachel and want to go for Rachel. And then I think there will be guys who are going to have to feel it out with both of them. And then they'll all have to kind of decide when it comes to that point. Yeah, there's going to be at least two like rock stars that they're both going to be into. There's definitely, I was
when Jesse said it's not Gabby and it's not Rachel, I immediately knew it was the two of them. Did you know this going in? Did you have a hunch?
I figured that it would have to be both of them because I felt like they needed, one of these girls to be the Bachelorette. So how are they going to choose between the two of them? If they choose Gabby, then it's like, what happens to Rachel? If they choose Rachel, then what? Are they going to Venmo Gabby like $100K? Like they both needed to win and find like a happiness. So I kind of figured it was going to be both of them. And I mean, it's going to be really good. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's very rare that we have a sort of all finalists win scenario. How do you feel about the Susie reveal? Did you see that coming?
Yeah, I did because my spoiler that you touched on last week, I actually did I got a call from somebody around that side of the camp. So I did hear that they were together and that they were making it work. So I knew that Clayton and Susie were going to end up together.
I was going to give you the chance to own up for that. Can you go into any details on what sort of information you received that led you to believe that?
Yeah, I mean, I got a call from somebody who knows someone who's one of the two of them. So I obviously have to, keep that anonymous. But basically, yeah, I heard exactly what happened with the situation that, they took time apart, I guess. And, Susie loves him. They're making it work. I didn't expect him to say he's moving to Virginia Beach. But I've already gotten a lot of DMs. People in Virginia Beach are kind of scared. Not everyone likes Clayton. I'm kind of excited for them as a couple, though.
Yeah, I look at Clayton as a guy that meant no harm, even if he made a lot of harm. And in the end, it gave, and again, this isn't necessarily like the way it was supposed to be, it gave Gabby and Rachel a platform to be empowered. They're going to have their chance. It really does all work out. It's not often that the show can kind of keep everyone happy. It could have ended in a way, like, and again, this might be good for relationships. They say, if you love it, let it go, whatever. But Clayton said, tell me it's over and I'll stop. And Susie said it's over and he let her go. And I feel like he finally got to the place where he got a chance to redo their breakup, where he got to give her the respect she needed. And then she got the chance to get some home cooking, take some time away, and then say, hey, let's go out for some coffee or whatever. Do you know how they got back together? Or was it a DM or because they don't even have each other's info?
Yeah, I don't exactly know how they got back together, but it seems like Susie was the one that reached out to him because obviously, she said it was over and then he had to kind of accept that. So I'm assuming it was probably like 3 weeks when they left Iceland, about a few weeks. And then I guess she found a way back to him. Maybe the producers facilitated it because at the end of the day, they still wanted a happy ending too for the show. So maybe they were, more than happy to kind of get the two of them back together. I also expected a Virginia scene of maybe him like flying there because we've gotten that in the past with like Ari, flying to like get back with Lauren. So I was expecting that, but we only have 2 hours of time. I mean, there was probably a lot we didn't get to see that we could have.
Absolutely. What was your thought with the lack of reaction that Susie and Clayton got for being back together? It's kind of a bittersweet thing that they weren't really received well.
Yeah, I would just kind of give it a couple days. It was a little weird for Susie to not acknowledge like what a jerk Clayton was. Obviously, like he's been through so much, so the last thing he needs is like the girl he's in love with to like put him through the ringer as well. It would have been nice if she kind of said something like, Gabby, Rachel, like I love you guys or something, but she had to kind of stick by her man. And I was happy to see her, claim him and like own him because I mean, that's really a bold statement after everything he's just done.
Absolutely. I want to take a quick second to promote your channel. Instagram at Zachary Reality. And of course, what's your TikTok? Is it the same?
Zachary Reality.
So everyone can go follow Zachary Reality for updates as we have it over here. And as you know, we'll be sharing in the good abundance of Bachelor Nation drama. What are you going to be doing between seasons? We got some time off now.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch other shows. Netflix reality TV is really popping right now. So whatever is going on around there, I will be talking about and covering. And my one last hot take before I head out of here is that I would love twin brothers for Gabby and Rachel. Find us twin brothers, make them both hot, and let's see if we can get that kind of quadruple moment going.
Why don't we find some twin brothers for you? How about that? How about we get Zachary over here? Some twins. I don't know if that's in your wheelhouse.
I mean, I'll just take one, honestly.
Okay.
Just one tall, dark, handsome guy. Maybe like an Aaron Clancy brother type.
Sure, yeah.
That would really work too.
Sure, absolutely. Well, if Bachelor calls us to go down to the beaches in Mexico, we could do that recapping from the barge I've been pitching.
Mm-hmm.
They've yet to return my call, but the year is young. Yeah, one of these days they'll recognize us. Dude, thanks so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And everyone, make sure to go give Zach a follow over there on Instagram and TikTok. Thanks again, man.
Yeah, see you later. Thank you.
All right, take care. All right, everybody.
Bye.
That was Zachary Reality joining us. Love the updates we're getting from everybody. So much to get into. We're going to just go back. Let me switch my microphone here. We'll go back here. I'm going to have Dr. Diane possibly join us on the Pacific hour. So don't get me wrong, folks. We have plenty of time. I haven't even opened my Diet Coke yet. Still finishing my coffee here. We're at 1,800 plus people in the live stream. That's right. Yeah, Dave the Matchmaker. How about that? How about Dave the Matchmaker? We'll get in there and we'll just we'll find love for everybody. Twins, triplets, who cares? All right, folks. Let's see what's happening over here. Gonna play some of your voicemails. And I hope everyone in the chat room is doing just fine out there. Let's go. I didn't get to finish Dale's comment earlier. Let's just replay his
Dale,
comment.
hey, this is Dale from Maryland, and I'm calling in. I just finished the show, and I couldn't be happier with the choice of them two bachelorettes. And all I am worried about is what is going to be the strategy for dividing up them 30 men amongst themselves.
Dale, I said it was going to be 30 divided by 2.
Oh, I don't know, Darlene, if it's going to be like 15 and 15. I don't know what they're going to do. But I'll tell you what, Darlene's boyfriend is an elite strategist in that corporate world out there, and he is going to work on it, and he's going to come up with it, and I'll call you back and let you know how it's going to go. Thank you now.
Wait, look at that. Dale in Maryland coming in hot. Absolutely. So as Bachelor data was showing us, we're going to go to a live update. Here's Susie Evans, 218,000 followers, now up to 222,000, and I just added an extra one from me. We're going to be checking in on her all evening here. And let's see, I've got a few other things to get to. My channel, we've hit 54,094. My goal for tonight is to get to 54,250, which is the, I'm trying to get up to Yankee Stadium level. Yankee Stadium has 54,251 people. If we get up to Yankee Stadium level, we will be in good company. That's 54,251. All right, folks, we're going to keep this party going. Absolutely. Krista Nunez in the chat says this Bachelorette season is going to be wild. Christina Stack says, Dale, I need to find him. Where are you in Maryland? Dale, feel free to call back. Again, I'm going to try to get to all of your voicemails. It might take a while. We have Mike in Maryland.
Hey, Dave, this is Mike from Maryland. I just wanted to say, after seeing the finale, that it was very disappointing to see Susie go back to Clayton after all the stuff he did. It's like rewarding bad behavior. All right, thanks. Bye.
All right, says that Susie going back to Clayton rewards bad behavior. We've got so much to talk about. Let's bring in what I'm going to go with is the godfather of Bachelor Nation reality. Steve, how are you, my guy?
What's up, Dave? What a... I mean, I haven't heard anything that you've said for the first 45 minutes, so and I've got a lot of thoughts here, but man, I don't even know where to begin with this. Like, I don't know. Ask me some questions. I'm better at asking than just because I'll just start rambling.
Well, so you had, and by all means, respectfully, you had it spot on up until the end of Iceland. What more can you want? Yeah. You got all the way to Iceland, and then you said you'd be shocked if they got back together. How did they keep this a secret?
Yeah, I obviously did a good job of keeping this a secret. I guess that's one place to start. Is I wish Jesse would have gotten into more of, hey, how soon after Iceland did you contact him? How often have you guys seen each other? Just I kind of want to know that stuff. Like, when did this start? Because it almost seems like, and then I think the biggest follow-up that Jesse totally missed out on was you literally made this, not saying staged performance, but let's face it, she told the guy, if you sleep with someone and tell someone you love them, that's a deal breaker for me. So if she really rekindled with him 2 weeks after leaving Iceland, Jesse's got to ask that. Like, hey man, hey man, you know, Rachel, Susie, what about? I'm so frazzled by what I just watched. Susie, what about this deal breaker that you had? You literally put us all through this, and you walked away, and we had to come knock on your door, and we had to convince you to come back, and then you came back only to leave him standing there, and then 2 weeks later, you just took him back. Like, can we get an explanation as to what happened to your deal breaker? Like,
yeah, you know, this show spends 10 episodes milking storylines, you know, B-roll of goats and this and that, and it's like, give us an extra hour. Like, the show, this could have been half the season, it feels like.
I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, look, they have their own reasons, and they set it up on stage tonight that they think that there will possibly be some backlash, and there will be. But again, I'm sitting here just like, yeah, I don't understand it, and maybe I'm not supposed to, but I'm not going to sit here and root against them. I'm not going to be like, Susie, you're a moron, which is, I mean, I'm sure she's getting a lot of it. Like, why are you taking it back? And, you know, the person that I just heard before I came on was, you know, you're rewarding bad behavior. Look, it's not my place to step in these people's relationship. If that's who she wants to be with, and that's who he wants to be with, and he's going to move to Virginia for her, you know, let's, you know, I'm not going to sit here and shit on them, you know, just whatever.
She for sure has more to lose in the public perception. This is actually a little bit of a rehab for him, I think. How did you feel like he handled the Rachel and Gabby breakup kind of confrontations?
Okay. I've got some thoughts on this. I don't know if it'll be popular, but it's gonna sound probably worse than it is. Rachel and Gabby had absolutely every single right to say what they said to him on stage, and he deserved what they said to him on stage. With that said, I didn't enjoy watching it. Like, I had no problem with them spilling their heart out to him because they didn't really. Gabby kind of did it on the way out the door in Iceland. But she had 3 months to sit on it, and that's what she needed to say, and I'm totally fine with her saying it. I'm totally fine with Rachel saying, I don't believe you, and I'm going to say all this stuff to you as well. And he responded, and she's like, I just don't believe you. I have no problem with that. But I was just putting myself in Clayton's shoes, and he just must have felt sitting on that couch, knowing that everybody in the audience was behind both of those women and clapping and basically wishing for his demise. I felt bad for the guy. I did. And I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. Like I said, I just felt bad that the guy's just getting pummeled on stage by like, let's bring Clayton out. Gabby, go at him. Let's bring Rachel out. Gabby, let's bring Rachel, Clayton out again. Rachel, you have your way with him. Like, I totally understand why they said what they did. Please don't aggregate this and say, oh, reality Steve felt bad for Clayton. It goes deeper than that. I totally have I'm siding with Rachel and Gabby on what they told them. They had every right to. I just didn't think it was fun to watch. To be honest with you,
it's like,
God, getting old here.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Where, like, you know, Red Sox fan. If the Red Sox hit a walk-off grand slam, I still feel bad for the pitcher. That's the pitcher in me. I'm like, oh, this guy just blew it, you know? So yeah, you can be all happy. You can be happy that they worked on their stump speech. I'm sure it seems like Gabby was probably more eloquent and Rachel was like cutting. I was surprised her last question. Jesse says, you have anything left you want to say? She goes, did you say you love me to sleep with me? I couldn't believe she asked that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was great that she asked it. And while we probably all know what the true answer is, which is yes, he was never going to admit that on stage because he would have looked like the biggest jerk off in the world. Oh God,
that would have been terrible. That would have been. Yeah, I was going to say that would have been the only thing that would have made this as surprising as it was billed. I don't know if it was as surprising as it was billed. I mean, they billed it as if the whole set was going to catch on fire. It was a good episode. What are your thoughts on if it lived up to the hype?
Well, that's the thing. I think when Jesse hypes things and the show hypes things, you got to remember they're not hyping it to the spoiled audience. They're not hyping it to the people that follow my stuff on a daily basis and have been reading everything for the last 4 months, because that's such a small percentage of their audience. They're hyping it to people that just watch the show on Monday nights and are familiar with the show. And when you break it down just to those people, you have something that's never happened in the history of the show. And they reiterated it tonight. The Bachelor left the final rose ceremony as a single man, and it's never happened. He's never been rejected before. So in that aspect, huge news to the person who just average Joe tunes into the show maybe in the last few episodes every season just to see, what happens. So that's kind of a big deal. Yeah, the Susie thing was certainly surprising. I did not know that. I thought he was single. And I said, yeah, I'd be shocked. I said crazier things have happened, but personally, if you ask me, I think he's single, and I would be shocked. So yeah, I'm shocked that she's with him. And I just think there was just a lot. It was just a lot tonight with the parents there and the audience basically teaming up against Clayton. That's what I'm just saying. Like, he deserved what those women said to him, but put yourself, and nobody that was sitting there cheering was putting themselves in Clayton's shoes at that point, where it's like, how must it feel to be on stage and be basically he had his pants pulled down in front of on a nationally televised audience. And it was just sucked to hear, but he did that to those women. So they had the right to do that to him. It just wasn't fun for me to watch as a guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, man,
you're right. When you bring in the public audience, it does add a little bit to it because it is going to be so one-sided. It's almost like when you have like a Republican guest on Bill Maher, maybe he makes a point and then everyone's like, boo. And it's like, all right, this isn't a fair audience. When it comes to, he was never going to get a fair shake after what he did to Rachel and Gabby. And it was the thing that I reported, like, he literally essentially begged them to stay at that final 3 rose ceremony, only to turn around 2 days later and be like, you know what? Nah, I really do love Susie. He had to have known, and each girl called him out for it tonight, which absolutely they were 100% correct on. Everything Rachel and Gabby said was 100% correct. Clayton, it's not like Clayton fought anything they said tonight. He's like, yeah, I totally screwed up, should have handled things differently. I apologize. There's really nothing I can say at this point, 4.5 months later, that's going to do anything other than it's not even going to make you feel any better, probably. But I think both of them called him out for it, and just like, yeah, you might have said I want to be transparent, and you might have want to said all these things, but the bottom line is you obviously were holding back the one true thing that we would have bolted on, which was Susie was the strongest in your mind. She was the strongest in your heart, and you held that point back because you knew we would have left. And they were right. Absolutely right. Do you think that he was trying to fool himself once Susie left? Do you think that he was trying to convince himself that he could make it with one of the other two, like as salvage?
I'm sure. I'm sure there was a part of him that thought that and probably thought, Susie went there. And plus, there's so many things going on behind the scenes with production that we just don't know. It's just, we know how heavily edited and heavily manipulated these shows are, and we're probably never going to find out the true story, because this Susie thing coming back to him after Iceland, which seemingly seemed like maybe a couple weeks later, it was almost like they told Susie, hey, for us to have a boffo ending, why don't you show up that final day, tell him no, but we'll let you contact him in a couple weeks. And you can say, we just want a crazy ass ending that we've never had before. I'm not saying that producers said that to her and she agreed and this was like some sort of plan, but is it far-fetched to think that? No, it's not.
Yeah, and when these storylines happen, you do have to put on the tinfoil hat, and because you do know that they are trying to milk the biggest thing that they can. My thought was that if Clayton had any shot with Susie, it was they would share notes after the season, and he would maybe tell her how he was manipulated into all of that. Maybe he wanted to define the relationship earlier. He said that they told, make Susie go last. No, don't have the conversation about sex beforehand. Clearly they knew what when they look back at Peter and Maddie had that conversation before then. If you're a producer, you might go, you know what? We need to do whatever we can to keep them from talking about that beforehand. And I don't know if that's if they could be that sinister, but it really makes you wonder.
Yeah, and that's the thing, that it's probably something that Susie and Clayton will have to go to their grave with. Like, I don't think they'll ever reveal in any post-show interviews, whether it's on GMA or whatever. Maybe we'll start hearing some more stuff about when this started and how it all came about and how many times they've seen each other. But for any sort of storyline of, yeah, Susie was nudged in a direction of, hey, you can reject him at Iceland, but we'll let you contact him afterwards. I don't think that's far-fetched to think it happened. I'm not saying it 100% did, and I don't think we'll ever get an answer to whether it did or not. Honestly,
sorry.
Yeah, no, I was done.
My favorite part of the whole season, and this, one of my biggest insecurities as a comedian is silence on stage. And my favorite moment of the season was Jesse Palmer saying, "Well, that's it for Clayton Echard," and then he took 3 whole seconds of silence, and then he raises the eyebrow. I thought he earned his old pay in that moment. I really enjoyed him teasing it.
Hey, outside of Jesse not asking Susie about her deal breaker, which is probably the biggest thing that he goofed on tonight, I thought he did a really good job. I mean, he sold it well. He's very comfortable in that role. I mean, but the thing is, I guess people outside of the sports world don't understand. Jesse Palmer has been hosting shows for literally 10 years. It's not like he got thrown into this because he was the Bachelor in season, 6 or whatever. Like, he's been hosting television shows for the longest time. A baking show. He's the Rooms to Go spokesperson. He did The Proposal. He did that surfing show this last summer. Like, he hosts shows. He knows what he's doing, and he's fine in that role. I have no problem with Jesse in that role.
That's what killed me. Oh, sorry, yeah. That's what killed me with Nick Viall when Nick goes, "Oh, so they're just going to hire some like football analyst." He was so flippant. God bless Nick. He was so flippant to this man's full career of on-air work. And I was like, first of all, a football analyst might be the best thing. Their brains are all over the place. They're watching 22 people on the field. Now all of a sudden you have one lady at a time coming out of the limo. This is nothing for Jesse Palmer.
People don't understand. Jesse Palmer being a football analyst, whether it's in studio on ESPN or a game analyst as a color guy, like you said, you're watching 22 people and then you get a 10? So you're not stepping over your play-by-play guy's toes. You get a 10 to 15 second window to speak and talk about formations, penalties, what went down in a 10 to 15 second window on something that's happening live. Everything that Jesse Palmer's doing on the show is taped. So anytime he screws up, we'll never see it outside of, the 2 live shows the last 2 nights. But I'm talking about during the season. So it's fine. And like we said, the host never really has a major role in this show anyway. He had a lot more talks with the lead, with Clayton, than I remember Chris Harrison having in it with any other past ones. I mean, and he sat there and he listened and, tried to offer whatever advice he could. But ultimately, I think I thought he handled himself well. I thought he did a good job as the host, and I have no problem moving forward that he's the permanent host of this show.
And there really hasn't been any commitment from anybody. So there was this thought, oh, maybe Caitlyn will win it over for Bachelorette. It's Jesse Palmer, you believe?
Yeah, no, it's him. Because he even said it at the end of the show tonight that, I'm going to be on this journey with you guys when he talked about the Bachelorettes and stuff like that. So
when they teased Susie, did you have any thoughts, at the end, right as they were about to pan up, did you have any thoughts that it might be anybody else but Susie?
No, because nobody else made sense. I mean, we knew it wasn't Gabby or Rachel, obviously, and it just didn't make sense to be like, hey, here's Teddy. Like, yeah. It did not make any sense. Now, Susie still doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense in my eyes, but it made sense it's the only person he possibly could have ended up with in all this. But again, I guess now I'm thinking about it. Another question that Jesse missed is, Susie, when you watch this back and you watch what he did to Rachel and Gabby, how could you want to be with a man like this? And she can give and I agree, it's not like he maliciously did it and this was his intent from day one, but just watching it back and seeing how poor he handled himself, it just you just wonder, like, God, what have these two developed over the last 4 months that's made her completely, this is my boyfriend, this is the guy I want to be with? Like,
well, what's I wish I could be in Clayton's mind, because last week, the week before, he's been getting so much hate for telling the 2 ladies that he's been intimate with both of them. In the back of his head, he knows he's about to dump them in front of each other. So, like, clearly he's watching this all after it's all said and done, and he's like, oh, I'm going to go on vacation.
Yeah, and yet the whole time, any interview he's done since January, he knew he was with Susie or talking with Susie. So it was almost like, he got beat up out there and tonight and could barely talk. I mean, there wasn't anything he could say to defend himself against Gabby and Rachel, because every single word out of their mouth was 100% factual and 100% true and how they felt. He couldn't do anything other than sit there and probably kind of subtly looking at his watch, like, can we get to the part where I bring Susie out to get some sort of happy moment here? But yeah, I mean, I'm as surprised as anybody. Do I think they have a long-term future? No, but but the thing is, I'm not gonna root against it and call them names or call Susie a moron for taking him back. It's just like I don't necessarily understand it, and I don't necessarily agree with it. If I were in her position, I'd probably have more questions, but I don't know what they've talked about in the last 4 months. It's not my position. I'm on to the next season. Like, let them do whatever they're going to do, and let's, get on to the next season, which, again, I'd say another big surprise of the night. The second Jesse said, I mean, I could show people my text messages, but the second Jesse said, it's not Rachel or Gabby, I knew it was an and. I knew it was coming. I knew it was going to be a both. I had heard some rumblings over the last couple days about a both, and I didn't want to believe it because I was like, Joe Millionaire just did that. We just saw a show with 2 leads. I don't know that if they would do it, and if they did do it, is it going to be like a Caitlyn Britt situation where the guys choose? I said, there's no way they would pit them against each other. And then I was like, okay, so maybe it makes sense. But then once Jesse said that, I was like, okay, we're getting both girls, and it's going to be a full season of 2 women. Because as I tweeted right after the show ended, when you're 20 years into a franchise and 46 seasons in, you got to do stuff different. And for this season, we got something different that we've never seen in the history of the show. And Dave, I don't want to say this is going to happen, but knowing how producers think and knowing how in the beginning of the season these producers get together and they say and they map out certain things that they may want to happen in a storyline, now knowing that we got 2 bachelorettes all the way through, don't you think it is a possibility that there's going to be one heartthrob this season or one guy that both of these girls really like the most, and that guy is going to get an overnight with both of them? Like, ooh. I already see that storyline coming. I'm already putting myself in the producer's shoes, because if I were a producer, that's what I would want to do. Yeah. There's going to be a guy that they both like, and there's going to be a guy that this guy's torn on both of them, and he wants to see where it goes with both of them, and he doesn't want to make his decision early on in the process because then he might change his mind later. So he's going to get to the end, and he's going to have an overnight with both of them, and he's going to bang both of them. We know it's going to happen, and they're all hell's going to break loose.
And then Rachel's going to ask him, did you say you loved me so you would stay with me? And then the world keeps...
I'm all for this double bachelorette thing. I'm not saying that's 100% going to happen, but I'm just putting on a producer hat of knowing the way these people think. I can see a guy getting 2 overnight dates. One guy that just both girls are torn over. But the overnight, I think just in general, I think this is going to be, interesting. It's intriguing to where people are going to tune in. They're going to want to see how this works, because in 46 previous seasons, we've never had a double bachelorette where they go out the whole show from beginning to end. They are your leads. So how are group dates going to work? Is it going to be like Joe Millionaire, where the group date is both of them on it? Or are they each going to have a group date where Rachel takes the guys that she's into and Gabby takes the guys that she's into, and then at some point they both obviously get a one-on-one date? Like, how are they going to do it? All this stuff, we have no idea, because this show has never done this before. So that part is intriguing.
It's almost venturing into Bachelor in Paradise territory, but it's actually, when you think about it, it's no different than like when I was single going out with my buddy. We're gonna go both meet this. A couple of girls are gonna walk in, and we're gonna introduce ourselves, and we're gonna know very quickly who's into who. Now, obviously, there will be scenarios. They're gonna be bringing in the brightest and the best that they can find. There'll be scenarios where there's gonna be a Thomas that they're both like, hello. There's definitely, like you said, going to be those scenarios. Now, what do you know about the season moving forward? Have you heard of any locations, or because they're starting next week, right?
Yeah. Filming starts this weekend, so I don't know if it's Thursday, I don't know if it's Friday, I don't know if it's Saturday, but one of the 3 days. It's going to start filming this weekend. One thing that was interesting that appeared tonight on the Instagram, and if you started this live right after the show ended, I don't know if you saw it. They already announced the premiere date for the double bachelorette season, and it's July 11th. We've never had a bachelorette season start July 11th. It's always started at the end of May, beginning of June. So all this does is, and I mapped it out already, assuming this is still an 11-week show and it goes straight into Paradise, this will film from this weekend till beginning of May, and then Paradise will film most of June like it always does. It just means Paradise is going to start later. It's going to start if you map out 11 Mondays from July 11th, the first Monday Paradise could start would be September 26th. So Paradise is basically going to run into November this year.
So we essentially are going to have 4 months off of the show, which could be, like a lot of people are saying, a little bit of a palate cleanse for the audience to kind of take a break, maybe find some hobbies.
Yeah, I mean, usually Bachelor always ends in mid-March, and usually the premiere date for Bachelorette is weekend before Memorial Day. Katie's got pushed back to June 7th, probably because they were a little late starting on. I think Katie started a week later after her, after Matt's, after the Final Rose. But yeah, so we'll basically get an extra 6 weeks of dead time where nothing's happening. But I don't know if that means Rachel and Gabby's season is going to film longer because there's 2 of them. I don't know what that means. It's still only 30 guys. So my guess is you're going to keep the same amount of dates, and episode 7 will be the episode before hometowns, and episode 8 will be hometown dates. But now, like, does each girl, like, how, like when Joe Millionaire did hometowns, the women went to the 2 guys' hometowns and they brought all the families to one location. If you do hometown dates for Rachel and Gabby, are you really going to give them each 4? That's 8 hometown dates we have to go over. Like, there's going to be so many questions that a lot of people have that we just don't know the answers to. But if they're each going to get 4 guys, like a normal season would on a Bachelorette, do they each get to travel to 4 hometown dates and separately, or are they going to do it like Joe Millionaire, where the guys were down to their 4 women and 8 families came to one location? I don't know. You know, I guess we shall see. But if they have to do 4 hometown dates for each girl, and each girl has to go to 4 different locations, then filming will last a lot longer than beginning of May when it usually ends. So maybe that's why it's being pushed to July.
Yeah, there's so many extra variables that will sort of test the ladies' communication skills, as far as, like, are they going to have some sort of headshot board of who's calling who? I think they're probably going to have to let it play out. They're going to have to be sort of all kind of hanging out and just seeing what takes root. But yeah, for sure, there's going to be some hand holding, long eye contact. Oh, you're with this guy now. There's so many things that happen sort of, you know, that are unspoken that we're going to be analyzing. It's going to be quite the season.
Yeah, I think rose ceremonies you would think would go the same. It would just be, if there's 16 roses to be handed out, they'll just alternate. Gabby will pick up a rose and say John, and then Rachel will pick up a rose and say Bill, and just go down the line. And they just alternate is my guess. And when Rachel gives a rose to somebody, I'm assuming that means that's who she's interested in. She's not going to be giving out a rose just to a regular guy or just to one of Gabby's guys. You wouldn't think. But again, this is so new to everybody. We just don't know anything right now in terms of how this is going to go. But as the season goes on and as I start hearing stuff, I'll fill people in on exactly, how this works and how it's going.
We totally appreciate that. And for the rare audience member that doesn't know Reality Steve, his Instagram is @RealitySteve. I'm pulling it up right now. And you've been crushing it with the reels. Everyone knows that you are the first to the scene, the first to the crime scene, and you're going to be doing double duty with the ladies this season. So definitely, we look forward to hear what you find out there. Anything else? Anything else you want to promote? Did I miss anything?
Nothing to promote, but I wanted to talk about your Vegas trip. How did the first off? How did the gig go in front of the? How did the gig go?
Oh my gosh, there's still parts of it I can't talk about because I haven't been paid yet. So I just want to make sure. I want to make sure my check doesn't bounce. But the show went really well. I brought my fiance. I don't gamble, so I did slots. I spent $40 and I won $180. Although you like Vegas. Have you been to Absinthe, the show?
I haven't seen that one. No.
Unbelievable. It is so raunchy. It's like,
that's the one that's the raunchy X-rated one, right?
It's like Cirque du Soleil with great, like, dark comedy, and it's all in a very small tent, so you're only 40 feet away from the action. You're literally like dodging acrobats that are in the sky. It's unreal. You gotta go see it. Absolutely. And then everything else was just like, by the 4th day in Vegas, we were like, get me out of Vegas. It was, the funny part was we were walking to the, we stayed at Aria for a couple nights, And then I was like, we got to get off the Strip. It was, first of all, overpriced. I was like, I just want to go to a resort with a pool. So then we booked Virgin Resort, which is just like a mile away. But we get there and the pool wasn't opening till the next weekend. And of course, we booked it with Hotel Tonight, which is no refunds. My fiance, doing the nice, Karen duties that she did, was able to still get a refund just because we were like, come on, there's no pool. All I wanted to do was sit by a pool, get some drinks and whatever. So then we ended up on our fourth night going to Mandalay Bay because they have a good resort. And we're walking into the family-friendly pool, and that's where it's so desperate how they do this, and I love it. But that's where they poach hot women to go to the nice pool. So we're walking into the pool and they're like, hey, but I'm with her. I'm some chump. I look like this Canadian 7. I'm walking in kind of the sunblock on my nose like an idiot. And they looked me up and down, but I was like, well, my fiance's beautiful enough to cover my being a guy, and they still invited us. And I felt at least about 20 years too old because it was just ridiculous. It was one of those like DJ pool parties, but it was so hilarious just to people watch. But
it's the best for people watching. I'm actually leaving tomorrow morning to go out because I have my annual March Madness trip. I'm always out there for the first weekend of March Madness, so I leave first thing tomorrow morning. And I was getting a kick out of your Instagram stories. I was watching those and watching you walk around the pool and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, that's right, because the pools usually don't open until mid-October. And the Virgin Hotel is the old it's the old Hard Rock. So Virgin took it over. And speaking of, you asked me earlier, I didn't even answer the question. There is a rumor going on that the Virgin cruise line, the Richard Branson now cruise line, Carnival Cruise, whatever, but not Carnival Cruise, but Virgin Cruise Line the fact is they have booted people who had reservations because they said, we've gotten an offer from a network television show that basically we can't pass up. So all you people that have booked through these dates, and it's there's dates in April, they took 3 weeks of reservations and said, sorry, here's your money back. So people and that email was sent to me. It's been circulating. I don't know if that's the Bachelorette, but it certainly fits the timeline. And again, something they've never done, have a few episodes where just cast and crew takes over a whole boat. If you can do a bubble in Indian Wells, you can certainly do a bubble on a ship. Now, I can't imagine the dates would be on the ship because that would be pretty boring. Hey, group date, shuffleboard. What else is there? What else is there to do on a ship? But maybe when it docks, that's where they do the dates. Again, this is all speculation. I don't know, but there is an email circulating out there that Virgin Cruise Lines canceled 3 weeks of reservations from people who had booked cruises, and they were told, we have a television show that offered us money to broadcast on our ship. So sorry, you're shit out of luck. Here's your refund. And it's 3 weeks in April. So
I was telling maybe it was Kelly Johns earlier today that I was supposed to go in March of 2020 on the Maiden cruise because my fiance got us free tickets through Revolve, which is all the cute girls, they get these sponsorships. And it was going to be a 3-day cruise from Miami to the Bahamas and back. Just a quick little Instagram promotion. And 2 days before the virus breaks out, it was canceled. They literally, the worst luck in the world, tried to launch a cruise ship company a week before a pandemic breaks out. So I wouldn't be surprised if they took whatever couple hundred people were booked on the ship and just chucked them for the promo that they're going to be getting, because they probably don't have a full boat right now. So I think they might as well, take the PR hit. But I did hear from people that have bet on it that it's the best cruise they've ever been on. So it's supposed to be
it's more adult cruise, right? It's not 65-year-olds on this cruise. This is more of because it's a Richard Branson thing. He's got the Virgin Hotel. He's got this is supposedly a better cruise line. And I can't imagine, I don't know the cruise line business, but I can't imagine there's any cruise line that's selling out right now. Yeah. Even at the tail end of COVID, hopefully, that we're in right now, I can't imagine any cruise line. So it's more about, hey, and I think the email actually even said that, we're not selling out. We have to do this because your week of cruise wasn't sold out. We don't have enough people. So
I think it'd be a good week. They buzz down to Jamaica. They they do whatever. It'll be something.
And I don't know if this is even confirmed, if it's a 1 episode thing, or they're literally going to be out on sea for 3 episodes, and the dates are going to be on the boat. But here's something that someone brought up to me that I didn't even think about when this came up. If they don't dock and they are just cruising for 3 weeks, 3 weeks on a boat, and the dates are on a boat and the rose ceremony is on a boat, who comes and gets the people that are eliminated? Like, hey, here's a dinghy, just head back to shore. Like, where do you get how do you send the people home who got eliminated at the rose ceremony?
Well, I know comedians that do the cruise ship circuit have private boats that will shuffle them to each ship. So they do have, the different cruise lines do have smaller boats to get entertainers around. So I'm sure they've got the resources. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. My thought, sports here. My New England Patriots have bought 2. They own 2 planes that are fully decked out as their premier jets. They've redone them so they have extra legroom, multimedia. I just can't for the life of me believe that The Bachelor doesn't charter planes so they can film on them. That just seems like a fun thing to do. Do you think that's even a possibility?
For travel, assuming there's no boat this season and they just do regular travel?
Yeah, like they
don't have their own plane?
Yeah, they're already flying like probably 50, 60 people, right? Why not charter at that point?
Yeah, you would think, but maybe it's just I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is cheaper to buy 120 tickets with cast and crew, or whatever. There's 100 people probably in this whole production that's traveling with them, as opposed to purchasing their own jet or purchasing because it wouldn't even be you wouldn't travel private. You would have to purchase a regular plane, like a 120 seat plane.
Or charter.
If you're going to do all your travel with one plane.
My band trip in high school chartered a plane. Like you can get a whole plane if you can fill it like at different levels. So my thought, it's always just weird when they're like rose ceremony in LA and all of a sudden they're like, hey, we're in Iceland, and I'm like, oh, I'd like to see them going through TSA. I'd like to see them eating at Cinnabon, but I guess that's just me being a little picky.
Yeah, sometimes we've seen them when the guys or the women are walking through the airport and they have given them selfie videos and they're sitting on the plane, but it's literally, 3 to 5 seconds. We've never gotten a full hey, on this plane, these 2 guys are talking and drama started. It's always just been like, hey, hey, we're going to Iceland, or, whatever. No, they didn't do that this season. But in past, we've seen them walking in the terminal very briefly.
So just to speculate, how many days is normal filming? How many days, limo ceremony to last rose ceremony? Is it like a month?
7, 8 weeks.
Because some people in the comment section are saying they could do a below deck style where they could literally rent out the boat and go to Jamaica. They could go to Cancun. They could go to Aruba. I mean, these are all like relatively easy places to get to. So that could be an option.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like if this cruise thing is a legit thing, and this email that's circulating is about the Bachelor buying out the cruise line, that's why I can't imagine dates going on while the boat is moving. I would just think they would just dock in a new location for each episode, and maybe go back at night and have the rose ceremony on the cruise and out on the bow. Is that the right word for?
I don't know.
Out on the deck, whatever the case may be. Yeah, I would think that to me, that would make the most sense. Like every episode, the boat just takes you to a place like Aruba or Jamaica, and that's where the actual episode is, and the boat is just kind of background filler.
Yeah,
but still gonna get promoted.
I mean, this would be great for beginning of the pandemic, but these are 3,500 to 5,000 seater boats, so I can't imagine that they would have that kind of money. But like we said, if Virgin was only half filling it, they're already probably losing money anyway. So we'll have to see how it all goes. But lots to speculate here. Well, look, man, I appreciate you joining us, and I want everyone to make sure to give Reality Steve a follow. And if you're new, if by any way you're new to Reality Steve, I think at this point everyone already knows you, but just in case, go give him a follow on Instagram, and also you're on TikTok now. So that's TikTok's an addicting app, man. Boy, that'll easily eat away your day if you get stuck on it. Holy.
I'll be on it as I'm waiting to get on my flight tomorrow morning. I can guarantee you that. Be For You page, just
My TikTok is like treasure hunts and then butt and then some archaeology. They're looking at dinosaur bones. It's amazing some of the random stuff that's on there. But anyway, I know yours has been taken off. But dude, thanks again for joining us tonight. I appreciate it. And enjoy the break between seasons.
I know, definitely. Thanks a lot, Dave. Appreciate it.
All right, take care, man.
Bye.
All right, everybody, that was Reality Steve for you. Of course, go give him a follow at Reality Steve. That's going to do it for the interviews that I have planned for any time soon. We might have more things coming your way. Let me make sure I got the audio here. You guys, it involves lots of bells and whistles for me to get to the audio, for me to get the production going. I'm a one-man shop. I have to do this all by myself. So lots of love for Reality Steve over there in the comment section. Yeah, isn't it nice for him to come talk to us? We are a relatively tiny channel compared to what he's pushing out there with his blog, Instagram, and TikTok. So make sure to give him a follow if you haven't already. Let him know you heard him on the show. Like I said, it sounds foolish to say because I know his following pretty much, is kind of like the more mature, he's got everyone, His name is synonymous with this show. And if you didn't know, I interviewed him several months ago, and Reality Steve started by just having interesting takes on Joe Millionaire, some decade and change ago. And through that kind of, it became his full-time thing. I don't mean to speak for him, but it's full-time thing, just talking shop. And that's always what we like to do. It was great. Reality Steve, and I talked on the phone last week for like 90 minutes. It's just nice to talk to someone who's like, it's almost like a graduate level conversation with everything that's going on in the community. Ashley S. said, great interviews. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate you. And boy, do we have a lot to get to. We have 1,740 people in the chat. Thank you, everyone who has stuck around. So many conversations to get to. Let's try our best. I'm going to update the voicemails and just start playing from the most recent, and then I'm just randomly going to pick some. So let's get into your voicemails right now.
Yo, back with that, Dave. Sorry, this is my second voicemail.
Oh, hold on. Let's play the first one.
Hey, Dave. This is Catherine.
Hold on a second. I'm getting my numbers mixed up. There's a 590 number. Let's go to our first number here.
Dave, what's good, baby? It's your boy Josh from Boston.
Joshy!
Coming in to discuss just the firestorm that we just witnessed on our televisions and computers and tablets. Man, it's hard for me to feel happy for them, Susie and Clayton, after just the terror that was unleashed in Iceland. So I don't know. I don't want to skip over how Clayton got to that position where he can now be happy. It really came almost like a Pyrrhic victory where it came at the cost of so much emotional stress that could have easily have been avoided if he was a little bit more astute and emotionally intelligent. No knock to the guy really, but it's just going to be hard for me to push through. But shout out to the queens, both Gabby for how she wore every dress but how she wore herself with grace and asking the good questions. And also Rachel had a very good question at the end where she said, did you just say you loved me so you could sleep with me? Very good. Man, these were some queens. So
yes, sir.
All the drinks to them tonight, all the roses and flowers to them. They really put on, not a show, but they put on for themselves and really held themselves with dignity and respect. Love to see it. Anyways, yo, it's crazy. Congrats to you for getting all these interviews. Sir, you are moving.
Thank you, man.
Proud to be a part of this nation. All right, love you, Dave.
Josh, so good to hear. Thank you so much. Yeah, I just, you start to make a few connections. Obviously the tech isn't perfect. I'm still figuring it out, but I decided to buy the professional grade software to be able to have these talks. Now, Evelyn sent us a video earlier, but I accidentally played the first of 3 videos, so it might be gone, but let's see what she had to say here. Oh, hold on. I got to go back here. I'm going to lose this. I got to turn this off, and now let's go to Evelyn and see what she has to say about... Oh, Evelyn, did I lose your videos? Oh, no. Hold on. I got to tell her I lost your videos. Can you resend? So sorry. Sorry, guys. I don't have a producer. I tried to play her videos, but they just disappeared. That's what I hate about... Oh, man, I hate that about people's Instagram videos. I just tried to play them. Sorry about that. All right, so Josh called back, I think, with a second note.
Yo, back with that, Dave. Sorry, this is my second voicemail. What I wanted to also say was, this next Bachelorette season is going to be crazy. I wish they would have had my baby Serene, because then you might have seen the boy might have applied to be in that season. However, sign me up for Rachel's season, all right? So you send the form along to your boy, reference him, and guess what? We might be on that season trying to find some love. But anyways, as always, great job with these interviews and great job with this live stream, man. You get you big time now. Appreciate all that you do. Peace.
Thanks so much. So you got a thing for Rachel Recchia, aka Pilot Rachel. There she is. Got the hair did. She is ready to go. Of course, I don't know. You know, the question I wanted to ask Reality Steve, which I forgot, is it seemed like they didn't know if they were going to be co-bachelorettes. It's almost like they were both. And here's my guess, is that they were both told they were going to be bachelorette, but to keep it a secret. And then it was revealed that they were both bachelorettes. That's just my thought here. Here's Rachel here. Bob, this is the shot, right? You got to do, this is the wide angle shot that the ladies love here. You can tell because of the distortion on the feet, but that's just because you get a nice wide angle shot and it kind of distorts the lens. But gotta love what she's got going on there. All right, let's keep the party going. Play some more voicemails. Evelyn, if you're still in the chat, can you resend your video to me? I'm sorry. It's just, once you play the video, it disappears. So completely lost it there. But let's get to some more voicemails here.
Hey, Dave. This is Catherine from Florida. So first, I need to say I missed literally the first entire hour of the show because my local news station decided it was more important to tell us about a tornado warning than it was for me to watch the live Bachelor finale. So that was really annoying. And the worst part is that my TV recording is also going to show me the weather for the first hour. So there's that, but I got the ending, which is the most important part. I'm so excited about Susie. She's been my number one pick since the very beginning. Gabby was a very second choice, a very close second for me. I'm really looking forward to Gabby and Rachel as the Bachelorette. All I'm going to say is that it'll be like, how are they going to prevent them both from falling for the same guy if they're going to be dating the same 30 men? That's my question. I'm really, really looking forward to this season. I would love to know your opinion on the two bachelorettes and how that's going to work. But I was hoping for 2 separate seasons just to get more showing, but I'll take the 2 in this in 1 season. That's all I really have to say for right now because I am trying to make this short, but I will be watching the live stream as much as I can. Okay, have a good night. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye. Thank you so much. Yeah, you say, how are they going to keep them from fighting over the same guy? I think that's the plan. They want them to. Now, we have a breaking news update. Of course, it would be that the biggest live stream of our life has been demonetized. You know, this just happens. No big deal. I know we have super chats coming in, but just so you know, this, I don't know. I think someone said swear early on. Sometimes this happens. We have it under review, but it's always kind of annoying. You know, I could stop the live stream and restart it, but I think we're just here to celebrate you guys, and I'm happy that you guys are all a part of this family. Anna says, is there going to be a Bachelor in Paradise? Yes, Bachelor in Paradise will film immediately after Bachelorette, and then it'll air end of summer into the fall. Alrighty, let's keep the party going. We have a voicemail right here.
Hey, my name's Mary from Pennsylvania. I just wanted to say that I feel as though a big problem with modern dating that I'm seeing is that a lot of people seem to have differing opinions on whether or not withholding information is a lie. I think that anytime you withhold information that would change somebody's decision about something kind of removes a little bit of consent. And so I do think withholding information is a lie.
Yeah, and I think withholding information doesn't do any good because they're going to watch it play out on the season anyway. I think that was Clayton's idea, was that he wouldn't withhold any information because they were going to see it. But then again, you know, it's one of those things in the moment. You know, I can see how it can be challenging. I can see how it can be challenging with as far as not wanting, you know, to overpromise to somebody and then have to take it back. All right, let's get to our next voicemail here. I'm trying to find out who the super chats were because I want to give you guys credit, but I'm trying to go through them.
Hey, Dave, this is Jess from Ohio, longtime listener, first-time caller.
Hey, Jess.
Got a lot I could say, but I'll keep it short. After that barf city of an ending, I mostly want to focus on clearing the air and saying that not all Midwesterners are like Shanae and Clayton. Don't get me wrong, I do love me some shrimp, but I also share it with others, and I have real emotions. Also really happy for Gabby and Rachel. I think it was super uncomfortable to watch how uncaring Susie and Clayton seemed. Like, none of that had just happened, and nothing they did impacted the other women. And finally, if they would let a 35-year-old on the show and they can find someone funny with a brain to be the Bachelor, I would love a good word to be a contestant. Otherwise, I have to wait and audition for the senior edition. Thanks for all you do. Okay, bye.
How funny. How funny there. Vying for a shot on the show for 35 years. Yeah, I don't think 35-year-olds are a problem. I don't think that's a big deal to have a 35-year-old on the show. But then again, I don't produce the show, so I'll, obviously, there's ageism, obviously, as they've got more men that have been 35 plus than women. Gabby's 30. How old is Rachel? I don't know. Rachel's probably mid-20s. Hey, they're good friends, though. All right, let's keep the party going here. Lots to get to. I'm going to try to get to as many voicemails as possible.
Hey, Dave. It's Victoria from Texas. You're my favorite Power recapper.
Thanks, Madison.
You know I'm a big fan. Just wanted to ask you, do you think that the double bachelorette strategy is a ripoff of the Joe Billionaire new show that's been getting really good viewership? Kind of feels like the same type of show. I'd love to get your thoughts on that. All right. Thanks. See ya.
Yeah, I hear ya. It's similar. And, Joe Millionaire did exist, years ago, but at that time it wasn't a double bachelor. Looks like we have a video. Let's see if this is, hold on.
Dave.
Oh my gosh.
I can't believe it. There was something positive.
Okay, I just got, Jen sent me a video, but your TV's on in the background. If you send me a video from your phone and the TV's on, it's going to pick up the TV audio. And I'm just sorry, I can't play it because all we can hear is the TV. But I wish I could get to it.
Hey there, PMD from Toronto, Canada. Why are everyone so hard and so mean on Clayton? I mean, isn't that what he's supposed to do? I mean, he's supposed to pick the last 3 girls. And I mean, yeah, he didn't handle it right, but in the end, he figured out who he loved. I mean, we knew he loved Susie the most, and then he went back to try and see if he loved the other girls. They met his family, and then he realized, look, I don't love you guys that much. It's like they're so mean to him. He's the lead. Like, he's the one who's supposed to choose the girls in the end. And yeah, some feelings are going to be hurt, and people are going to feel bad, and he's going to leave some girls behind. Every season, some people get hurt. People cry, there's like a whole thing, but the lead actually gets to leave with the one that he loves. And this is actually a lovely love story, if you really think about it. I mean, she left him, then she found him, then she realized that her desire for not sex, whatever, and he had sex with other people, and they realized that they loved each other. And this is a nice love story. It's a great ending.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't get it.
A lot of people feel your feelings. A lot of people out there agree with you. They're like, hey, aren't these the rules? And of course, we've discussed this plenty. Clayton, the thing that was confusing is Rachel said something like, Clayton, I haven't seen you apologize once. And my thought was like, hasn't Clayton apologized nonstop? Hasn't he nonstop apologized? I feel like the second they announced him, he's like, hi, I'm the next Bachelor. Sorry about what's going to happen, Ayana says, oh, sis, we've been watching 2 different shows. And hey, isn't that the love there? Is that there's 2 different shows? 2 different shows going on there. I love all the Midwesterners apologizing on behalf of Clayton.
Hey, Dave. It's Victoria from Texas. Big fan of yours, as always. Thanks for always being super responsive on Instagram DMs and everything. Love chatting with you. Just wanted to ask you, do you think the double Bachelorette is kind of a ripoff of...
All right, sorry, I already played that. We already got to you, but thank you so much. Sarah from Dallas.
Hi, it's Sarah from Dallas. I just want to say fuck everybody. Gabby's on her queen.
All right, we got some saying F everybody. Gabby's on her queen stuff and love your show. Thank you so much. We're just trying not to play swears. We're trying to stay monetized. Although I know we're not monetized. But we're trying our best to regain some monetization. We just had a jump at 8:30. We had a jump in new people in the chat. Did I see that right? Looks like we're at 1,600. But either way, much appreciate all of you guys in the chat. We're going to try something here where we get our following up to Yankee Stadium sized, which is 54,251. Yankee Stadium is 54,251, and we are at 54,145. So if you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button, and I would really appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, swearing's okay. I just, like I said before, I'm just trying to get this stream back in working order here so we can make a buck. We did make $40 so far in the super chat, but we've definitely lost some money through the demonetization. Hey, that's what happens. That's what happens on live streams. I was surprised earlier that the earlier live stream wasn't demonetized, and of course, as soon as I checked, this one was. Them's the ropes, folks. All right, we're getting to your voicemails. We are cooking, so make sure to call in 401-213-9828.
Okay, this is Kat from South Carolina again. If you already played my...
Oh, that was a cutoff. Let's see here.
Hey, Dave, this is Kim from Texas.
Oh, Kim, we love you.
And I hope, I'm so happy about Susie and Clayton that they are following their hearts and living their lives away from LA and Hollywood and Bachelor Nation. And this man sold his condo, quit his job, and he's moving to where his woman is in a couple of days. That's what I'm talking about. I love that. I've always liked Clayton. I still like Clayton. Did he make a couple of mistakes? Yes. But the way this season has gone, except for the differences, is the way seasons always go. They make it to the end, they have final three, and two people get hurt horribly. Just like two people got hurt horribly now. And so he didn't have bad intentions. He wasn't malicious. And I appreciate Gabby having grace and showing kindness to him. I know why Rachel acted the way she did. It's because she was embarrassed by the way she acted those last few episodes. And she wanted to usurp some more power, which I get that, and that's cool. The haters probably have been deflated, but everybody should just wish Clayton and Susie well and move on.
Love it.
Bye.
Bye. That's it, folks. That's it from Kim. She says, move on, haters. Wish them well. I'm looking forward to pick apart what goes down with Clayton and Susie as their relationship continues. Hey, they say they're in love. They say they're in love. Victoria says, do you think the double Bachelorette will divide screen time and limit our ability to watch so many relationships progress? I mean, I can understand that being a concern, but I think there'll be a lot. I think they'll find a way to balance it all. You know, there's plenty that they can do to balance it, but that is a question. Kevin Rashidi says, this caller is smart AF. Yeah, Kim in Dallas always brings the goods to us. We always appreciate your calls. And let's go to Michelle in New York.
Hi, Dave. It's Michelle from New York. I think that Jesse Palmer was right. It did shock me. I honestly didn't think Susie was going to walk out. I thought she was done. He asked her at that little altar thing in Iceland what she wanted to do. Funny that she didn't say, hey, let's kind of date. That was weird. So she made him sweat it out. I call her Princess Susie. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. Glad he's happy. Glad they're happy. The collateral damage was heartbreaking. I was heartbroken for Rachel, really, mostly, to be honest with you. I knew she loved him really hard. Great show, and I guess I'm glad they're both the Bachelors. I would have preferred Serene or Teddy. All right, bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for that. Can you believe this? This is wild, guys. We've just hit a milestone on the channel. This is just absolutely wild. This is the biggest 2-day viewing total we've ever had. We just hit last hour our biggest hour ever with 15,724 total views. That means, you know, that's a compilation of all the different people that have joined the chat. And we are at, look at this, almost 250,000. I think by the end of the live stream, we'll be at 250,000 total views in the last 48 hours. That blows my mind, folks. That blows my mind. Okay, yeah, I didn't get up to get a water. I got up to open the window out here because I was getting a little warm in here. Oh, Kevin with the super chat. Thank you so much. Says, Dave, I love you. Yeah, we're going to be running this again, I don't, by no pressure. I appreciate all of you guys here, and I do apologize that I haven't been able to shout out the super chats from earlier. There's so many comments in the comment section that when I was interviewing, I had to kind of keep my focus on the interview. I hope you understand that. So if anyone sent a super chat earlier, if you could just DM me and let me know if you want a shout out, I'd be happy to give it. You guys are the best. I'm trying to give super chats and talk to our friends over there at the same time. So not always easy, but I do appreciate you guys so much. All right, so I've submitted for a review of the episode to get the monetization changed, but I've never submitted to have the monetization changed in the middle of an episode. So this is where it is right now. This video is being reviewed to determine whether it's suitable. So chances are what happens is it'll get reviewed tomorrow when no one's watching it, because obviously live viewers are the best. So whatever, no big deal. Sarah says, congrats, Dave. You deserve it. You work so hard for us, bringing what you've spent time researching, making content for entertainment. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you much. Daniela says, I'm trying to read here. I don't buy that. I think he always knew who it was. I've defended Clayton the whole time, but I do find it a bit shitty that they slept with him thinking he loved them when he didn't. Yeah, that's a fair feeling. That's a fair feeling. B. Bean with a State of the Union. Dave Neal Nation is strong. Oh, it's as strong as it's ever been. I'm going to be very busy tomorrow. Victoria said, don't apologize. You do so much. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, let's barrel through. We have a phone call from Ottawa.
Hey, Dave. It's Ananya from Ottawa. And all I have to say after watching the finale is what the actual fuck. I'm not allowed to swear for your live stream. I'm sorry, but that is how I feel. Also,
I need a bleep button.
They better do a good job with this Bachelorette season, because these two women have been through a lot. And if they put them through any more pain because of the producers just not being good at taking care of people, then Bachelor Nation will come after them.
True.
That's all. Thank you. Bye.
No problem. I should have this as my bleeper.
Ew, David.
Should we do that? My Ew David button?
Ew, David.
All right. We've got that. We got a long way to go tonight. Casey says, restart the stream if you need. No, it's okay. I won't restart. I mean, should I restart the stream? Maybe at 10 o'clock I'll redo a stream. We're at 1,500 people. No, I don't want to restart the stream. That's a tempting offer to restart it. We'll just wait and see if we get remonetized here in the next few minutes. It's kind of one of those things where I think we lost whatever monetization we were going to have. Although I could restart the stream. I could consider that. Maybe I'll take a 5-minute break and restart it. We'll see.
Hi, Dave. It's Trisha from Toronto. I wanted to say thank you for everything you do for us. We love you. And I also want to say that I think the problem that people are having that maybe, we get apologized to by men in relationships all the time. And I'm sorry that you feel that way. That's not an apology. And also, when he tries to explain why he did something, that's also not helpful in an apology, because impact always matters more than intent. So we don't care about his intent. We just want him to realize the impact and actually say sorry with some emotion behind it. So I feel sorry for Susie now, because she's going to be hearing these terrible apologies, and I don't think they're going to last.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Sorry. They don't always mean much, but, I don't know. I don't know what else Clayton could have done. He apologized, but I hear you. absolutely. All right, so some are saying start the stream over. We'll have to see about that. Gata0809 says, hi, Dave. Check out Brandon Jones' Insta stories. Do you think we can have another Blake Moynes situation? First of all, thank you so much for the super chat. What's his name again? Brandon Jones. Let's have a look at Brandon Jones. What you think's going on with Blake Moynes? So you're thinking that he might have a connection with somebody? I don't really understand what the thought is here. Let's see.
I'm gonna have to live commentate now. What the?
he's gonna break up with him.
After begging them?
And then they just show Rachel's dad and all of Gabby's family is there, watching this live. Oh,
nice cold beer.
Oh, he's gonna murder.
Yeah.
Oh, I would be pissed if I was your dad. Shit.
I love their reactions.
Ooh. Queen. Gabby, you a queen. Yo, the tension right here.
Rachel.
To leave Iceland alone,
Oh.
it doesn't make it like an easy decision.
Tonight was going to be absolute. Do not go. I know one guy who wouldn't have been left at the altar.
I was left at the altar.
Oh, my bad.
Here's a reveal.
Audience, out of curiosity, who do you think it is? All right, Bachelor Nation, let's bring this mystery woman out here right now. Everybody, here she comes.
Who could it be?
Yeah! Oh, I can finally say it. Oh. They're so beautiful together, too. And it sucks because guess what? I wasn't invited. And if he proposes right now and I am not there, I'm going to flip shit. I'm not going to. I'm not kidding. I am going to flip shit. Shanae? They invited Shanae? Oh, I'm heated, bro. Oh my.
This is so funny. All right. Oh, we have okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave this stream and come back at 9. I'm not leaving it yet, but I'm gonna just hang out in the stream. We're gonna start this puppy back up. That's gonna give me 5 minutes to use the bathroom, and then we're gonna finish this party right here. I love these reactions. We have reactions coming all night long. We have another 2+ hours with you guys. Thank you so much for the super chat. Christine Marciano says, congrats on 2200 in the room and such a great job this season. You worked so hard and we appreciate you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your appreciation. Susie, a different Susie, said, heard demonetized. Shame on YouTube. Happy that everyone's happy in the end. Hope all 4 of them live up to it. Excuse me, I got a burp. Thank you so much, Susie. All right, you guys are fantastic. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to keep the same thumbnail. I'm going to redo the live stream entirely, and we're going to come right back, okay? So do me a favor. Don't go anywhere. If you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button right here, 54,147. Hit the subscribe button and the alert, and I will be back in literally 5 minutes or less. So just come right back. Will you guys all come back? Let's do this, okay? I will be right back. I'm going to restart this. I'm going to get it monetized, and we're going to come back and party hard for the final half. This is the best thing we can do, all right? So we'll be right back, folks. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to let you go. Again, don't go anywhere. Call the voicemail line, and we'll get to all of your voicemails in 5 minutes. Take your bathroom breaks right now. See you in 5.